So you want to put an LS in your classic car or truck and you've heard it's cheap and you get a lot of horsepower. Well, I'm about to burst that bubble. Disclaimer, a lot of this will apply to if you're going to do this in your garage yourself, but we're going to speak from a shop point of view. Here we go. Drive shaft, transmission crossmember, transmission cooler lines, an oil pan, usually you got to flip that thing around, shift linkage, headers, you're going to need a harness, fan controller, electric fans, power steering, radiator and hoses. You're going to need a throttle cable or you're going to do an electronic pedal. Your intake tube and your air filter, what are you going to do with that? Map sensor, fuel tank. Doesn't need baffling for return. You can modify stock tanks, but typically that's a fuel cell. You're going to need fuel line, fuel pump, fuel pressure sensors, an exhaust system. What are you doing for gauges? If you're using a junkyard motor, you're going to need to tune it up, clean the injectors, new wires, plugs, fluids, etc. You can't just drop those things in directly. And then you got transmission options. What are you doing for a transmission? How's that transmission going to be controlled? Then you have to figure out, are you going to use your stock ECU or are you going to use a Holley terminator system? And if you use your stock ECU, you're probably going to have to find a tuner. And those guys aren't cheap unless you got a buddy to do it for free. So if you're doing this in your garage, you can't avoid most of that. You're going to have to still do all of that. And with a shop, that's a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money. An LS investment is clearly an investment, and it is multiple of thousands of dollars to do. Where if you were to do a small block Chevy, it would be a great reliable motor. It wouldn't quite have the horsepower as this, and it wouldn't have the prestige of having an LS in your car, but you're still gonna be able to enjoy your car, and you're not gonna blow a bunch of money on this motor that you don't really necessarily need. Motor swapping your classic car or truck is not gonna be cheap or easy. This is gonna be an investment that you need to be willing to commit to in order to enjoy the reliability and the horsepower that an LS motor is going to get you.